Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to completely reframe how you think about building a website. Most people just treat WordPress themes like a simple coat of paint, a purely visual choice. But by the time we wrap up here, I promise you're going to see how your theme is actually this enormous, complex iceberg. What you see on the surface, it's really just a tiny fraction of the whole story.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to start by looking at renting versus owning WordPress, then break down the different theme types. After that, we'll hit the essential features you absolutely need, uncover the hidden SEO impact of your theme, and finally, we'll take a deep dive right into a theme's anatomy.
All right, part 1, renting versus owning WordPress. This is our foundation. Before you even pick a theme, you've got to decide where your website is actually going to live.
To really grasp this great WordPress divide, let's think about it like real estate. On one side, you have WordPress.com. This is basically like renting an apartment. It's super convenient, the landlord handles all the maintenance, but your features are heavily locked down. You can't just knock down a wall because you feel like it. Now, on the flip side, we have WordPress.org. This is like owning your own house. The dashboard is totally unlocked, you own the code, you own the property, the whole shebang. And you can build or customize your theme exactly how you want. For the rest of this explainer, we're focusing purely on the limitless potential of the owning side.
Moving on to part 2, understanding WordPress theme types. We're going just below the surface now. We've got our foundation of ownership, so let's look at the actual architecture you can use to build this digital house. The WordPress ecosystem has evolved a ton recently, and the new standard is what we call a block theme. A block theme uses JavaScript-based blocks for literally every single part of your site. And we aren't just talking about blog posts here. We mean your navigation menus, your headers, the footers, everything. It's all edited dynamically right there in the site editor. It is, without a doubt, the future of WordPress design.
And this brilliantly illustrates the 4 current theme types you might run into out in the wild. We just talked about the block theme, using the site editor, but you also have the classic theme, which has been around forever, relying on the old customizer, menus, and widgets. Then there's the hybrid theme. That one kind of bridges the gap. You use the customizer, but you also get a template editor. And lastly, the universal theme, which is fully configurable either as a block or classic theme, depending on what you prefer. Grasping these functional differences is absolutely crucial before you hit that install button.
Okay, part 3, essential theme features. These are the structural pillars. We know the types of themes out there, so let's go a bit deeper into the core functional elements that any modern theme really needs to survive in today's digital landscape.
Consider this startling little statistic. 53%. That is the percentage of mobile users who will literally just abandon a website if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. 3 seconds. If your theme is bloated, you're losing more than half of your mobile audience before they even see a single word of your content.
To solve that massive pain point, and honestly a few others, you really need an essential feature checklist when you're evaluating a theme. Number 1, a fully responsive mobile layout, obviously, to solve that mobile abandonment problem. Second, it needs lightning-fast loading speeds, which means optimized, minified code. Third, robust customization options so you aren't boxed into some generic cookie-cutter design. Fourth, and this is huge, WCAG accessibility standards and area attributes so your site doesn't exclude users with disabilities. And finally, proven plugin compatibility. You absolutely do not want a rogue theme update triggering a devastating conflict that breaks your entire site.
Now, keeping all of those structural pillars in mind, it begs a pretty massive question. If you decide to swap out your theme to get all those cool, better features, does changing your theme actually affect your search engine ranking? Which brings us to part 4, the hidden SEO impact, the unseen mass. This is where things get dangerous, because your theme directly manipulates how search engines crawl, view, and ultimately rank your site. Hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to this quote from Google's own John Mueller. He says your WordPress theme has a huge impact on site speed and ultimately how well your site performs in rankings. So the crucial point here is that themes aren't just an artistic choice, guys. They are a highly authoritative SEO variable. We really need to rethink our metaphor here. A theme is absolutely not just a simple coat of paint. It's actually the skeleton, the entire nervous system of your website. It controls the underlying structure that those search engine bots are actively reading. And if you carelessly mess with that skeleton, you open yourself up to some massive unseen hazards. A poorly coded theme that can spike your bounce rates just from confusing navigation alone.
It can instantly alter your URL structure, causing thousands of broken 404 errors. You might suddenly lose all your auto-optimized metadata and schema markup. Or maybe a lazy developer stripped out essential HTML5 semantic tags that actually tell Google what your content even is. It can even mess with your default image indexation, stripping out alt tags and completely destroying your image SEO. Basically, a simple theme change can effectively erase your digital footprint if you aren't careful.
So if a theme has this much power over your speed, your structure, and your SEO, what is actually making up this theme under the hood? Like, what are the gears turning in the dark down there?
That brings us to our final section, inside a theme's anatomy, the deep dive. We are taking our submarine all the way down to the ocean floor for this one. We're going to dissect the raw code and the structural hierarchy that forms a theme's actual anatomy.
We have officially reached the bottom of our iceberg. Just like the concepts explored in the textbook, WordPress Themes in Depth, we are plunging straight into the technical abyss. This is where the magic and the actual code happens.
Now, right at the very heart of this technical abyss is a concept known as the WordPress loop. What's really interesting about this is that this single, versatile core PHP mechanism is the literal engine of your website. It's the exact process your template files use to pull data out of your database, so your posts, your pages, your custom fields, and then output it onto the screen based on specific conditional tags. Without the loop, a WordPress theme is basically just an empty shell. Let's move on and see how this builds into an actual working theme. To build a classic theme from scratch, developers follow a pretty logical progression. Step 1, they create the raw PHP template files. Step 2, they distribute the template code across those files, separating out things like the header, the footer, the sidebar. Step 3, they use include tags to pull all those disparate pieces back together to form one cohesive page structure. And finally, step 4, they apply the style via CSS to make all that raw data actually look good on the screen. But a good developer's job doesn't stop at assembly. Down in these depths, they have to fortify the code. They rigorously follow a security and optimization checklist. They're actively validating incoming data to make sure it's safe. They have to sanitize HTML, URLs, and database queries to block malicious code injections. For performance, they're minifying the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, shrinking those file sizes down to the absolute bare minimum. And they relentlessly optimize images and avoid performance killers like the CSS import command. This is the heavy, highly technical lifting that keeps your site blazing fast and totally safe from hackers. So, as we resurface from the depths of our iceberg, I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you're browsing a theme directory, clicking through all those beautiful flashy thumbnails, you got to ask yourself, are you really just picking a pretty design, or are you carefully selecting the structural, SEO-impacting, code-heavy foundation that is going to dictate your website's entire future? I highly encourage you to go look under the hood of your own website today and find out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.